Merida is the colorful capital of Yucatan state, located on the northwest part of the peninsula. It has one of the largest old towns in North America and is considered one of the safest cities in Mexico. A trip to Yucatan in Mexico wouldn't be complete without a quick stop in Merida, so we put together a 2-day itinerary for you so you can make the most of your visit in the city. Obviously, we didn't have time to cover everything there is to do in Merida, but we think it's a great place to start. If you're new here, we're Kitty and John, and we love to travel and experience new places and cultures. We've traveled to many countries, but really fallen in love with Central and South America and spend much of our time there. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more travel content from this beautiful part of the world. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video.
In terms of size, Merida is a lot bigger than its next door neighbor Valladolid, so we definitely recommend staying somewhere a little more central. If you just want to be able to walk everywhere, the center itself is very walkable. If you base yourself there, it should be nice and easy. We stayed literally just off the main plaza, which was super convenient because we could get to everywhere we wanted to within about 5 to 10 minutes. This central location, we did pay a little bit more, about $47 a night for 4 nights. It is a little bit more on the medium range side of things. We think it's worth it to pay a little bit extra to be so central within Merida. The highlight of a visit to Merida is simply to walk around its historic center, as it is just full of colorful streets, grand buildings, and leafy plazas to see. So on our first day in the city, that's exactly what we did.
It's been a little while since we've done one of these. I have put together an all trails map for Merida because it's quite a large place and there's a lot of things to see.
I put so many things on the map that it looked crazy.
We're doing like a self-guided walking tour, stopping at all the different places.
Our first stop was Plaza Grande, the main square of Merida. This wide open plaza is surrounded by lots of important buildings, most of which you can go inside of for free. The Catedral de San Ildefonso is the city's main cathedral, which was built in part using the stones taken from the original Maya settlement nearby. On the opposite side of the square, we could enter the municipal building of Merida for free and head up to their balcony for one of the best viewpoints of the plaza. On the south side of the square is Museo Casa Montejo, a restored 16th century house featuring art exhibitions. Unfortunately, we could only go in one room though due to a school visit at the time. Finally, on the north side of the square is the Government Palace, another building you can enter for free and which has a beautiful inner courtyard and a gallery displaying some impressive artwork. From the Grand Plaza, we headed across to Parque Hidalgo, a small but very pretty square next to the Rectory of Jesus. Then we followed Calle 60 past some colorful facades until we got to Parque de Santa Lucia. This small park has a pair of giant kissing chairs and is bordered by many restaurants. It most likely comes alive in the evenings. Continuing down Calle 60, we eventually came to Parque de Santa Ana, which is not much to look at, but does have the gorgeous Parroquia Santa Ana right next to it. After that, you'll pretty much leave the main old town behind, but it's worth continuing up Calle 60 as we pass some really colorful old mansions like Casa Azul and El Pinar, to name a few. We then headed to the main road of Paseo de Montejo and walked a little further north to the Monumento a la Patria, a Mayan-style homage to Mexican history built into the middle of a roundabout. It's beautifully sculpted and well worth the detour from the old town to see it.
Very much getting Cartagena vibes from Merida, which isn't surprising considering it's pretty much the same location on the Caribbean, but you get all of these like crazy sort of abandoned or semi-abandoned mansions all along the main street here, which you also got in Cartagena. Here they've sort of like converted them into a lot of hotels and banks use them for a lot of their headquarters.
We took another small detour through the Gran Parque La Plancha on the way back to the old town. This large park is home to a railway museum as it has been built over the remains of the old abandoned train yard, so we saw plenty of train cars as we wandered around. There's also a large indoor gastro market here, which again probably comes alive later in the evening as there was nobody there when we arrived. Going back into the old town, you can't have seen pictures of Merida without seeing the iconic yellow arches. There were 3 in total that we managed to see, although there might have been more. 2 of them were on Calle 50, where it intersects with Calle 61 and Calle 63, and another was next to Parque San Juan on Calle 64. These arches would have either been purely decorative, or they would have marked the beginnings of roads out of the city. Our final stop on this self-guided city tour was Parque San Juan, where where we could see the beautiful yellow St. John the Baptist Church. Now, you definitely don't need to follow our route exactly, and you could definitely skip a few things if they're not of interest to you, but just spend a day wandering around the city streets of Merida's historic center, go to a few of the restaurants, eat the local food, because that really is one of the highlights of a visit to this beautiful city.
On your second day in Merida, you have a choice to make. You can either spend your entire day visiting a couple of the cenotes in the nearby Cenote State Reserve. You can either rent a car or take a tour to get there. There are a bunch of cenotes in the nearby town called Homeland. Based on a quick research, there are many tours that would take you there to visit a couple of these. The other option is to visit the nearby city called Izamal, which is also referred to as the Yellow City. It is located about an hour's drive to the east of Merida. Since we've visited quite a few of the cenotes around Valladolid and Tulum, we decided to visit the Yellow City instead of more cenotes on our second day in Merida. As you can see, if you want to experience pretty much everything that Merida has to offer, you would probably need 3 days instead of 2. Getting to Izamal on public transport is affordable and pretty straightforward. You need to go to the terminal the autobuses Noreste on Tire 50 and 67, buy your ticket to Izamal from the Adeo Oriente kiosk, and then hop on the bus. Buses leave around every hour, and one-way journey costs about 40 pesos per person.
So we've reached Izamal. Probably took about an hour and 30 minutes on the bus. The bus did leave about 20 minutes late. Pretty comfortable bus, air conditioning and everything. As you can see behind me, the one defining feature of this town is that everything is painted yellow. All the buildings, walls, it's known as the Yellow City. In front of me here is the convent, which is kind of like the #1 attraction here in the town. So we're gonna have a wander around here first and then go and explore the rest of the city.
Convento de San Antonio is a beautiful building that takes center stage in Izamal. It actually has the second largest outdoor atrium of any convent in the world besides the Vatican. Interestingly, the indoor courtyard of the convent is painted red, one of the few different colors we saw in Izamal. Other than the convent, just wandering around the town's yellow streets is highlight on its own. If you were ever looking for an insanely photogenic town, then you should definitely go to Izamal.
I mean, if there was ever a city that was made for you, this is it.
I think you guys know that my favorite color is yellow because I always wear something yellow. Well, not today because I didn't want to blend in too much. This town has been on my bucket list for a very long time and I'm so happy to be here and take hundreds of millions of photos.
Yeah, we wanted to come here 2 years ago when we were last in Yucatan. Back then we got very sick after Chiapas, so we weren't able to come. It's nice to come full circle and be back here and see it in person.
Isn't that crazy that you just walk into a mile side from the side of the road? No, I'm so used to like having some like transportation to get to these places in the middle of nowhere. Now it's just literally in the town center.
Pretty cool.
There are actually 2 Maya pyramids within the town. First we climbed up was Piramide de Itzamatul, the smaller of the 2, and definitely not the best when it comes to views. The second was Piramide Kirikabulu, which is a lot larger. This means better views, but also means you have to work a lot harder to get there.
The thing about the Maya is they definitely loved to build very steep structures, large differences in height between their steps. In this heat and humidity in the Yucatan in October, it's pretty brutal. We are sweating profusely. Hopefully the views are worthwhile.
Yeah, I think I can see like convent in the center area.
Of course you had to get the yellow ice cream. Yellow ice cream in the Yellow City.
After our ice creams, we headed back to Merida on the same bus that we arrived on. We really enjoyed our short stay in the city, and whilst it doesn't quite knock Valladolid off of the top spots of our favorite places in the Yucatan, it certainly gives it a run for its money, and we definitely recommend a visit to the region's capital if you're in the area. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then we have plenty more content from Mexico, Central and South America. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from us like this. We also have a travel blog, which we'll link in the description, where we go into a lot more detail about all of the locations that we've visited. If you're interested in getting more information, then make sure to go on over and check that out. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video here in Mexico.